Okay, hi there, Libra. Let's do your weekly intuitive tarot reading for the week March 23rd to the 29th. Please know that time is fluid, so wherever you find yourself on the timeline watching this is exactly when you're meant to hear it. I also encourage everyone to explore their own natal chart. So if the Libra reading doesn't resonate for you this week, go and check out your other placements within your natal charts. The links are below, along with some links to my website, Facebook and Instagram, so you can discover a little bit more about the work that I do as an intuitive energy healer and reader. Thank you for being here. All right, Libra, let's check out a theme for the week for you. Relationships. I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. And you know what, Libra? We're very much in times at present that are all about encouraging each of us to focus on our core values, what and who matters the most. Okay? For a while now, maybe perhaps you've been questioning the relationships in your life. Are they aligning and resonating with who you are becoming as a person and where you're wanting to go? You know, it's true for all of us. Who I was, who you were 2 years ago is different to who you are today. And certainly, you know, the relationships you found yourself within, intimate or otherwise, or friendships, okay? The relationships you found yourself within and the dynamics that we allow ourselves to play out, the boundaries that we do not put in place. All of that is a learning curve as we get older, as we grow wiser and become more aligned to knowing who we are and ultimately why we are here. I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So I'm definitely speaking to some Libras out there at present that are doing some serious assessments around this energy of reciprocity and is this connection good for me? Is it beneficial to me? And it's not about being selfish, Libra, but it is about ultimately honouring your boundaries, what you get in return for what you give. Does a friendship, you know, question your morals and standards and beliefs about some important things, okay? So let's see what story the tarot would like to tell in regards to that for you today. Please remember these readings are general, so take only what resonates and leave the rest. I may or may not pick up on different storylines. Sometimes I pick up on just a very distinct, clear storyline. I'm going to go that way. Okay, Libra, let's take a look, see what the tarot says. The Ace of Swords. You're definitely cutting away toxicity. The Devil. Ace of Swords, the Devil. In the past, you've got the Seven of Cups. Above this is the Ten of Coins. Below this is the Ten of Wands. What a beautiful story that's coming out here. The Nine of Wands. I still think that you're doing some filtering. I'm definitely speaking to Libras that are cutting away toxic connections, and toxicity is different for all of us, okay? So how deep the mud is depends on who you ask, Libra. What you will put up with is different to what I will put up with. What your boundary lines are going to be different to the next person. I see in many ways, you know, some Libras out there are working within some spiritually healing energies, okay? In releasing toxicity, in releasing old behaviors that ultimately you've allowed, okay? We all must ultimately take accountability for the decisions and the connections we've allowed in our life. And with that comes some great wisdom too, and learning about ourselves and what we want for ourselves moving forward. I'm speaking to Libras that are essentially perhaps even questioning, have I learned my lessons here? Do I want to keep repeating the same patterns? And look, you know, it comes down to, why do I keep attracting these kind of guys or these kind of girls when I'm dating? Have I genuinely got something good here? Because I feel like I'm speaking to Libras that are not just talking about generic relationships. I feel like I'm speaking to Libras that are assessing intimacy patterns, boundary patterns, okay, which is huge, Libra. That's, you know, in yourself when you have truly shifted. Like I see you still holding back here. Okay, bottom of the deck. You're traveling into calmer waters. If you're questioning if the shift is real, if you have truly shifted, if this new connection is a shift, I'm going to say yes. You know, the Six of Swords underneath all of this for you, you are traveling towards peace, removing yourself and leaving behind toxicity, leaving behind relationships that are toxic for you, okay? You know, they're obviously, toxicity is, like I said, is loosely defined, depends on who you ask. For someone like myself that's completely energetically sensitive, I'm very conscious around the kind of connections I keep around myself and how much time I interplay there, because I feel it. So, and if you're connecting into someone that ultimately has deeply different beliefs to you about political stuff, religious stuff, moral choices that we all have, you know, it might be offensive to your emotional body, your mental faculties, and any number of things, okay? But look, you've cut away toxicity. You've cut away behaviors that are toxic to you. And yes, Libra, we go internal with that, okay? We and us alone are the only ones that allow anything in our lives. We are always free to choose, to engage, to connect or not. I feel like I'm talking to Libras here that have cut away a toxic connection, that have walked away from a long-standing tie, and definitely that also applies to those that are walking away and cutting away the toxic behaviors within, that allow ourselves, that find ourselves in these connections, Libra. If I don't believe that I'm good enough, I'm always going to perhaps be attracting people that confirm that for me, that don't treat me with high regard, with respect, with genuine care. But I have to ask myself first, am I treating myself like that? That is the key. When I see the Devil card, sure, I can look at that in so many ways, but on the surface, at first glance, it's working with shadow elements, it's working with ego, it's working with the aspects of ourselves that we hide within. You know, it's the stuff that goes on behind closed doors. It is the deeper fears that we don't perhaps talk about or even look at or even become aware of until we start to say, hey, I've noticed some patterns here. Sure, this can even talk about addictions and substance abuse, okay? With the Ace of Swords present, you know, I'm talking to Libras out there that have been on a bit of a journey in the last year and certainly the next year ahead, okay? Truly connecting into the wisdom, what you've learned about yourself in being able to feel free to honour relationships that ultimately nurture you and that are good for you, and releasing toxicity in all its forms when it comes to your connections. Someone here has walked away from a toxic connection. And if you've just started a new connection, you know, I do feel in many ways this is something solid, okay, that you have. Because I feel like I'm also talking to some Libras that are like, how do I know? You know, when you first start dating someone, you're just wondering. Trust, okay? Trust that, because what you've got coming up here feels good, okay? What I do see that is surrounding you and is influencing you, above you, Libra, you've got the 10 of Coins, and beneath you, the 10 of Wands. Let's talk about this story. I'm just going 10-10. You're definitely closing chapters by all means, okay? Above this, what crowns you, what's guiding you, what you're working towards is something solid. This is the legacy that you're building, the dynasty. You want marriage, you want commitment, you want something solid, tangible, something of value, long-lasting. If this is about relationships and intimacy and connections and romantic partners, dating prospects, you know, you're done now. You're done playing the dating game and allowing old behaviours and manipulations and even the lies you tell yourself, Libra. You're done because you're looking for something solid. Okay, and perhaps you found it if you've got a new connection. Underneath all this, you're letting go of the responsibilities and the burdens that were never yours to carry. Okay, when it comes to patterns in intimacy and connection and love and trust, where were they learned? Sure, We've each had our own experiences. We've all had heartbreaks, okay? But those deeper beliefs about what connection, friendships and relationships that are nurturing or not, a lot of those patterns were developed through learned behaviour, okay? So when I see the Ten of Wands in relation to this theme that we've got going on here, Libra, you know, I feel like you're letting go of even karmic patterning, okay? What we see, what was taught to us, what was shown to us is ultimately what we psychologically and subconsciously pick up from our family backgrounds, okay? I feel like you've let go of something here that ultimately felt like a burden. And yes, I'm definitely also talking to Libras that have walked away from a toxic connection that perhaps you felt tied to because of children, because of marriage and vows, and you know, are they going to be able to look after themselves? Feeling overly responsible for someone else when ultimately your happiness is important. Don't get me wrong, I deeply value old school traditions, okay, but I also know what it's like to be an empath stuck in a toxic connection and feeling overly responsible for everyone else's well-being before my own, okay? I think I'm talking to a Libra here that's walked away from and seen, had some sudden clarity, okay, with the Ace of Swords of, you know, carrying other people's burdens, the burdens of other people's happiness, their well-being. It's not your responsibility. It's actually quite toxic to us. It doesn't feel free. The relationship certainly doesn't serve our highest good then. You know, we can't be everybody's parent. We have to remind ourselves to connect into nurture, to us. In the recent past, Seven of Cups, it goes without saying you were overwhelmed with your emotions and feeling like you're at a crossroads of choice. What do I do here? You know, when I marry this up with this card, I feel like I'm talking to Libras that were in a marriage that was just unhealthy, a long-standing commitment that was unhealthy, that you walked away from, you know, burdened by the responsibilities of having to carry all of my thoughts, my guilt, the emotions that come with this massive decision I've just made. I do see you've come out of that, Libra. This is in the past, okay? Where you're likely at right now, what you're heading towards is the Nine of Wands. I do see you're holding back. And for some Libras, they're wondering if they've made the right choice. That's why I was picking up on that earlier, intuitively, and wanting to tell you, yes, you have made the right choice. Yes, this new connection that you've perhaps made, if you're second-guessing yourself, don't hold back. Okay, trust that the decisions you've intuitively made, the ones that felt strong here, were right for you. This is something solid. Okay, what you've walked into, this new chapter, even if this new chapter, it finds you on your own, standing alone. Okay, you've taken what's of value to you, you've taken the wisdom, you've taken the lessons, you've taken, you know, or this is someone that's just happened upon a new relationship or a new experience, okay? You can even apply this to a work context, guys. Okay, you've left behind toxicity, okay? Relationships that do not nurture you, family, work colleagues, a marriage, a commitment, a partnership. What you have right now is something tangible that you can take and hold. And if you find yourself standing on your own, waiting for that job to come, finding yourself single, finding yourself at the crossroads in between the two chapters of your life, what you take with you is something of value, the wisdom from the learning, the lesson. Okay? You've got a lot of clarity. And if this is about a new chapter and a new beginning and you're wondering if you're not going to be repeating patterns and mistakes, yes, what you have here is something tangible, Libra. So let me talk to the Libras that are just entering a new connection and you're actually wondering if this is something like this, because you know in the past it's been a lot like this. Connections that are not good for you, repeating the same patterns, no matter if it's just a new face and a new body, you know, well, I'm finding that I'm repeating dynamics and patterns. Why is this? Why do I commonly find myself in this role? Well, the Ten of Wands I also call, and the wounded healer, okay? The Nine of Wands is the wounded healer. The Ten of Wands I call my, especially to the females out there, this is the wheelbarrow that we all carry around with everybody's stuff. You know, we've got our goals in the bottom there when we first kick out in life as a young woman. The Ten of Wands is you know, me going, okay, well, I want to help them too, and I'll help my neighbour, and I'll help my parents and my friends, and before you know it, my wheelbarrow is full, and it's heavy as F, and I can't even see my stuff. Is this even mine to carry? Okay? Enter new experiences, new connections after sudden clarity. I feel like I'm talking to a Libra here that's questioning a new connection, and I'm going to say yes, you will be recognized for who you are. You will be seen for who you are. This is also the marriage card. I also feel like it's a mirror card. Okay? All that I am inside and genuinely want, will it be mirrored to me? Because this guy, he's coming back from some, you know, he's being celebrated by the village there, okay? You are being seen for who you are, for what you have to offer. Your value is valued, okay? You're wondering if this is, if you've surpassed a karmic cycle. For some Libras out there that I'm talking to, has the spiritual cleansing and healing happened? Yes, it has. It has, Libra. Okay? There's a little bit more here too, but there's definitely a coming together. And I think I'm speaking to some Libras out there that are wondering if this connection is actually going to lead to something genuine, something solid. And this Three of Cups is the coming together. It is engagements, it's celebrations, it's marriage, it's you just feeling like you're celebrating yourself for a big decision you've recently made. Okay, this story might even go back to September. It might span 9 months, 7 to 9 months. I feel like I'm talking to Libras that have been on a path of wondering what if, what next, and really deeply questioning the connections and relationships in their life over the last year. I feel like I'm talking to Libras that are deeply questioning their karmic patterning and intimacy patterning. Okay? Six of Swords on the bottom of the deck. You are moving into calmer waters. This is an opportunity to start something new, okay? Is it a new connection, a new chapter? It doesn't matter if you're on your own. You have now chosen to only attract relationships that ultimately serve your higher good. You have released toxic and heavy obligations and burdens and guilt and emotions that weren't yours to carry. You are free to be honest within your heart and go out and seek what it is that you want. So do it. This is karmically balancing the Justice card. Justice will tip in your favor. This is a karmically balanced card, okay? You've learnt, so I'm talking to Libras that have learnt some major lessons here about toxic connections, okay? Everyone is familiar with the term empaths and narcissists. So many empaths find themselves within a healing role, okay? We're feeling obligated and responsible for the burden of others. At our own expense, we'll break our back for them so that they know that they are worthy. And yet in the process, what happens, Libra, we lose our worth for ourselves. I say this to a lot of clients, okay, especially if we find ourselves in the deep trenches of a commitment, a way of life, a job, a false sense of a responsibility to a commitment, okay? These guys can become unleashed if they want to. They can unlock themselves. There's this fear-based bind that makes them feel like they have to be stuck in a pattern, stuck in a situation, stuck in a sense of security. And I say this to clients all the time. When you find yourself at a crossroads of life, finding it hard to come to a clear decision, Libra, whether you are a parent or not, think of a young person, this is especially for the parents, okay? If you turned your story around and you were talking to your son or daughter, they were your age, okay? They were in exactly the same position. What would you want for her? What would you want for him? That's huge, right? Would you expect your child to play karmic roles, carry the burdens of others at the expense of their own happiness, feel tied to a connection that ultimately isn't right for them? Okay, the devil card can be interpreted in so many ways, okay, but when I'm looking at all these cards together, this is toxicity. This is not healthy. It is a deep, raw commitment, yes, okay, but when it comes with some other cards here about wanting to move away, feeling overwhelmed with emotions, and this especially, you are not the wounded healer. You are not there to heal someone else through ultimately what is your own wounds, your own false beliefs about what you deserve. Okay, sorry, Libra. Can you tell that I'm working from home like the rest of the world? I have a little person in the background. I film these at night time while he's asleep, and you know, as much as he's phasing his daytime naps out, I was taking advantage of one today, and here we are. Okay, where was I? So, you know, there's a karmic balancing at place here, Libra. I'm talking to the Libras that know that they have recognized some deeper intimacy, connection patterns that are perhaps no longer right for them. You perhaps have recognized that it just doesn't work for you, okay? You're wondering if you've healed from this lesson, you've incorporated the wisdom, and I do want to say yes, you have, okay? Because when the judgment card shows up, the trumpet has called, you've heard the sound, okay? When I see a combination of those cards as well, I do want to say for those Libras out there that are connecting into a new connection and wondering, is this me repeating old patterns? Like, I do want to say, pay attention, because the trumpet is sounding. There's genuine recognition here. 6 is a number of harmony, okay? You've incorporated a wisdom lesson here. You've incorporated a spiritual and soul lesson, a deep one, okay? What that comes with understanding the role we play ultimately in what is and isn't healthy for us when it comes to intimacy and connection, into relationships. This is being seen for who you are and what you have to give. So if there's a new connection, I'm going to say yes, Libra, okay? It feels safe. This is something that you're working towards of tangible value. You know, the 8 of Coins is definitely a career card, okay, which pertains to success and a valuable reward, okay? So it's that salary that you've always known you deserve. It's that relationship you know you've always deserved, okay? It's that tangible, something you can see, hold and touch, okay, that you're finally getting back, and it's a brand new beginning, okay? All right, Libra, brand new beginning in how you hold, participate in, allow relationships. And moving forward, you're definitely choosing connections and relationships that nurture you, your heart. You don't have to be everyone's healer. You don't have to be everyone's mother or father, caretaker. You deserve to have exactly what you would want your child to have, okay? You deserve to have everything you've ever wanted when it comes to relationships, okay? And if you don't have children, speak to the little person inside. For the most part, I think I'm speaking to Libras that have really incorporated a lifelong learning here when it comes to something that means a lot to all of us. Relationships that nurture. All right, Libra? I hope you found value in that. If you're looking for other messages pertaining to your zodiac placements, go check out the other readings if you like it, and if it resonates, would love your support. Join the little community. This is a new YouTube channel, of course, but until next week, I'll see you then. Hope you have a great week. Thanks, Libra.